In the heart of Ijebu Ode, where gossip rides the harmattan wind faster than motorbikes, they called her Mama Doti, death beneath their sandals. She was the woman mothers pointed at when their daughters came home late. If you don't marry well, you will end up like her, worthless and alone. At dawn, she sat by her wooden stall near the old church gate, frying akara in sizzling oil that spat and scarred her arms. Children threw stones at her rusty umbrella. Proud women wrapped in bright akara crossed the road, clutching their handbags like she might beg them for alms. But no one ever asked how she kept her belly full. No husband, no child, no brother. The world said she was alone, and that was her greatest weapon. Because at night, when the last lamp in the market flickered out, Mama Doti's name changed. In secret ledgers, she was called Madam Dorcas Alabi, silent owner of half the shops in the market, quiet sponsor of the chairman's last election, ghost banker to petty traders and big men alike. She built her wealth brick by brick, loan by loan, secret by secret. When money wasn't enough, she collected shame instead. Your shame wrapped in brown envelopes and whispered truth. If you missed your payment, she didn't shout, she didn't fight, she just knew things that could bury you with a whisper. Still, every morning she wore the same faded wrapper, the same tired slippers. Her eyes watched everything but told nothing. Some said she had juju buried beneath her akara stand. Some said her madness was punishment for sins too old to remember. But her secret was more dangerous than any curse and more powerful. One harmattan afternoon, trouble came dressed in agbada. Chief Bamgbose, the landlord of landlords, the same man who laughed at Mama Doti's store every Sunday, on his way to church, lost millions in a shady oil deal. He owed banks, he owed politicians, he owed his own wives. In desperation, he gathered the town's big men to meet a mysterious investor, Doti Group Limited, the same name stamped on the secret papers that controlled their debts, their shops, their borrowed cars. They booked a private meeting in the council hall, sweating in starched lace, practicing sweet words to charm this faceless tycoon. When the doors opened, the guards sucked the air from the room. It wasn't a white man in a suit. It wasn't a foreign company director surrounded by bodyguards. It was Mama Doti, wrapper tied tight around her wide hips, gold tooth flashing as she stepped onto the dusty floor. At first, they laughed, dry, choking laughter. What is this mad woman doing here? Where is the real boss? She only smiled. Her lawyer unzipped a battered black bag. Out came deeds, IOUs, receipts, contracts signed with trembling hands. Everything they owed, balanced on her palms. Chief Bamgbose collapsed onto his plastic chair, chest heavy. Councillor Dimeji dropped to his knees, stuttering, Mama Dorcas, please forgive us, leave us something small. But Mama Doti was not their mother. She was the death they stepped on, the gossip they spread, the beggar they mocked, until they found their survivor in her hands. She leaned forward, voice soft as breeze, but heavy as thunder. When you called me death, I listened. When you mocked my store, I watched. Now your pride is my broom. I will sweep you out with it. By dawn, the whole town knew. The woman they shooed away for smelling of fried oil owned the petrol station they queued at for fuel. The woman they mocked for her torn wrapper held the deeds to the market stalls their wives bragged about. The woman they swore had no child or husband owned the land beneath their roofs. The next Sunday, pastors lined up at her akara store, voices trembling with bless you, ma, bless you, ma. Her worst enemies knelt in her dusty compound, begging her not to auction their lands, not to evict their families. But Mama Doti never changed. She still fried akara every dawn. She still fed the same children who once threw stones at her umbrella. When asked why she didn't flaunt her riches, she only tapped her chest and said, "True power does not shout, it whispers and watches." To some, she remained Mama Doti, death in their mouths. But to the wise she was Madam Dorcas Alabi, the woman who wore rags over gold, who turned gossip into fuel, who proved that when the world laughs at your ashes, you can build an empire from dust. And when the harmattan wind carried gossip again, the children whispered a new warning: be careful who you mock, or you will owe your life to Mama Doti.